It's February, everybody, and we're moving closer and closer to the start of the new season in Formula One. But there's plenty of news and plenty of discussion still about last year and what's upcoming this year. And we're talking all things Red Bull today as the constructor shows their support for Michael Masi and reflects on perhaps what could have been for a young Carlos Sainz. I'm Ollie Wilson, this is of course GPFans. Hit the subscribe button down below to stay up to date with all of our content that we produce here at the channel. But now let's get into the headlines. Red Bull Racing have unsurprisingly backed Michael Masi as Formula One race director, as the FIA has been slow to recognise the size of the hole left by Charlie Whiting. Jonathan Wheatley, Red Bull's sporting director, has been speaking about the controversial topic that has split Formula One fans this off-season, after Michael Masi's handling of the final race of the season, which I'm sure we don't need to go over once again, received plenty of criticism, although that criticism of Masi doesn't just stem from the final race, after a lack of consistency in decision-making across the 2021 season. Now, the FIA is investigating the events of last season's finale, but we all wait for the final verdict with bated breath, and while we do that, Wheatley has offered his support to the race director. Whiting was consistent in his decision-making, consistent in the way he dealt with people across the board. He knew when to tell you to shut up and when you needed an arm around you, said Wheatley on the Jack Thrifle show. Whiting was an extraordinary man in that respect, and I think the FIA was slow to realise just what a big pair of shoes those would be to fill. I think Michael, with the right support, is more than capable of doing that, and on a personal level, he is a really nice guy with no edge to him at all, and he listens and tries to do the very best that he can. Now, the FIA hasn't ruled out the possibility of Masi being replaced, despite being so close to the start of the new season, but Wheatley has shown sympathy to the man in the middle of all this controversy. If we look broad brush at race direction and the very, very difficult role that the race director and the stewards have, and it is difficult. If we look at that and we talk about the consistency of stewards' decisions, consistency across the board, like people who watch football would like to see from referees, it's not always the case. So a fair bit of sympathy for Michael Masi coming out from Red Bull this off-season. Now, Ewan Gale has written a cracking piece on GPFans.com all about why Formula One needs to perhaps stick with Masi and learn from the horror shows of Formula E. Get onto the website and have a look at that as soon as you can. Elsewhere with Red Bull, and Helmut Marko is starting the mind games with Mercedes nice and early, as the Red Bull advisor has expressed his doubts over the Silver Arrow's new recruit George Russell for this upcoming season. After 3 years with Williams learning at the highest level in motorsport, Russell has finally been given his chance to play with the big boys, partnering Lewis Hamilton at the reigning Constructors' Champions Mercedes. The young British driver has shone both with Williams with his fast qualifying pace and in his only drive with Mercedes to date, filling in for Lewis Hamilton at the Sakir Grand Prix in 2020, being denied a race victory only due to pit lane problems as he showed his top-class talent. Even Fernando Alonso has expressed his admiration for Russell's performances in his early years in the sport. However, some have wondered if Russell can maintain the consistency needed at the top level, and Helmut Marko has recently been one of those to be very open about that sort of opinion. Now let's see what Mr. Russell will do at Mercedes and whether the praise he has received in advance is justified, remarked Marko to Auto Review. I want to see that first. There's no discussion in qualifying, he's sensational there, but if you look at his race speed, he wasn't far ahead of then Williams teammate Nicholas Latifi. Instead, Marko gushed with praise for Carlos Sainz in the interview and revealed that it was a close call for Red Bull as to who would be promoted from Toro Rosso back in 2016 with the Spanish driver or Max Verstappen gunning for that spot. Sainz was unlucky to meet Verstappen in that deciding moment, added Marko. We had already seen at the first test at Silverstone that he was super fast right away. He was almost on the same level as Verstappen, nearly. But when we then had the choice between Verstappen and Sainz, it was clear. Both were disappointed, but the father the most. Sainz is definitely one of the top people. He has proven that. So Helmut Marko giving plenty of love to Carlos Sainz, who of course is now plying his trade at Ferrari and did a very good job in that first season, pipping Charles Leclerc in the battle between the two Ferrari teammates. But do you think Carlos Sainz in that Red Bull would have achieved what Max Verstappen has done? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GPFans Global. Get onto gpfans.com for all the breaking Formula One news and hit the subscribe button down below to stay up to date with all of our content here on the YouTube channel.